Guess what? I'm in nature and I have a challenge for you. See, there's the nature. Just me and Mother Nature. I have a challenge for you. Disclaimer alert! Disclaimer alert! Please pause the video and read the disclaimer. The first challenge to healing is radical acceptance. That's what the challenge is. So basically, I invite you to accept. The act of accepting something for what it is, whether it's a challenge, whether it's an experience, is leading you automatically to winning 50% of the battle. Reinhold wrote a beautiful prayer that says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. My prayer for you today is that God give you the serenity to accept that you were abused, rejected, neglected, and left traumatized. The wisdom to know that it is your responsibility to ensure that you heal and overcome, that you accept that it happened because it did. It was not your fault then, and it's not your fault now, but it is your responsibility to ensure that you heal and do whatever it takes to make sure that you do not continue to live your life as a traumatized and broken person. Become the best of yourself despite of everything that you have gone through. And it starts by you accepting that it happened. Remove fault, stop dwelling in the fact that it happened. Accept, make peace with the fact that it happened. 2. Master yourself. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses. Get a new notebook. Write in it every traumatized experience that you've gone through in life. Figure out how it has affected you, how it has influenced you to be who you are today, how they have molded you to be who you are today. Are you promiscuous because you were sexually abused? Do you resent women because your mother emotionally abused you? Do you hate school because you have a learning disability and your teacher criticized and made fun of you, or other kids made fun of you? Are you happy with who you are? When you look at your strengths and you look at your weaknesses, you're resilient. Are you happy with who you are? If not, what are you going to do to improve, to change? Because it's on you. And all in all, I want you to remember, if you're going to heal or be successful at anything in life, you are going to have to be the person who does it. Nobody can do it for you. Your parents can give you life, but they cannot live it for you. The abusers can hurt you and abuse you, but they cannot heal you. It is all on you. If you're going to succeed or have anything in life heal from trauma, you are going to have to be the person who does the heavy lifting. You might get support, you might get education, but you are going to have to carry the bulk of the work. Don't expect people to do for you things that you're not willing to do for yourself. For the next coming 2 weeks, 7 days, minimum. But this is obviously going to be a lifelong process. Be with yourself because you have to know who you are. Some people are uncomfortable looking themselves in a mirror. And that's because they don't even know who they are. You look in a mirror and you feel uncomfortable because you don't know who that person in a mirror is. Realize that pain is stored in your body. So when you sit by yourself and listen to your body and make friends with reality, the fact of the matter is your monsters, your pain and your hurt wants you to love it. So go inside and observe it and feel it. Let it tell you what is going on, how it is experiencing you and how it is experiencing life. Sit by yourself. And being with yourself doesn't include Facebook. It doesn't include social media. It doesn't include a book. It doesn't include TV. It doesn't include phone calls. It means being with you, listening to what is inside of yourself. What's in your heart? What are your thoughts like? What is your energy feel like? That's the first step. Sit by yourself and be prepared to have radical acceptance. What is radical acceptance? To me, acceptance and radical acceptance is acknowledging the reality for what it is without mental rejection. So if you grew up being beat up, accept it's not your fault, but it is a reality. If you were sexually abused, accept it's not your fault, but it is a reality. If you were cheated on, accept it's not your fault, it is your reality. Just accept for what it is without mental rejection, without outward trying to put a spin on it. Just it is what it is. And that's what acceptance is. Accept that maybe you're an alcoholic. Accept it. That's when you accept, you win 50% of the battle. A great example of situational acceptance is a friend of mine who had a stroke. She was paralyzed on her left side. For a while, she tried to say it's this, it's that, and she was fighting the doctors. But it was only when she accepted that, listen, I suffered from a stroke and this stroke has paralyzed me on the side, was then when she was able to make peace with the fact she can use her left side of her body. And she's going to have to start learning to use them again as she did as a child. And she has to try and reduce stress and try and change her eating. And only after she accepted, then she started eating right, she started going to physiotherapy, she started exercising, and she started taking responsibility for her life now and what she wanted to be and how she wanted to live in the future. And that's what I mean. That's the difference. The stroke happened, she accepted it, but taking responsibility of her life, not to be a person who's bedridden, fighting with the doctors and in denial about what happened in her life and to her body, is what helped her. Because once that mental switch happened and she accepted, she was able to just then do whatever it takes to make sure that she heals and she goes back to herself. And as we speak now, she runs marathon and she's 75. So taking responsibility for your life is different from taking responsibility for the misfortune or the abuse that happened in your life. If you are an adult who was abused as a child, accept the past for what it is. It is a real. And if you are a person who is sick now, who had a stroke or whatever, accept that for what it is. And accept if you are in an abusive relationship right now, accept it for what it is. And then take ownership of, is this how I'm gonna live my life forever? Is this who I want to be? Or am I wanting to live my life as a different person? I just want to repeat it again. Acceptance is the thing that you need to overcome misfortune or the ramification of misfortune in your life. Acceptance is the first step to healing and overcoming trauma, to getting out of painful and a traumatized life. Accept things for what they are, and that's where you will find you won 50% of everything that you need to do. Accept, and you have won 50% of everything that comes after that. See you in the next video. Deuces.